Capital G-O-D, God, God, God. It's written in Hebrew. The original language of the Old Testament is Hebrew, and this Hebrew word for God who created that we translate into an English word is Elohim. E-L-O-H-I-M. Main character is God Elohim who created. There's another Greek word and Hebrew word talks about creation, but the one in the Hebrew text in the Old Testament, Genesis chapter 1, is bara. 48 times in the Old Testament, it means Elohim, God, bara, literally created something out of nothing. That's verse 1. That's the beginning. That's where this starts answering our questions about how did we all get here. It started with God who always existed. Say, wow? Yeah, no wonder. 7 words changed the whole world. Hebrews chapter 11 says, by faith we understand that the entire universe, you got to have faith, Buster. Quit listening to what everybody tells you is true. Half of it may be true. It may be a truism, but there's only one gospel truth. It's the Bible, the Word of God. 66 books, 39 and 27. All inspired and written. 40 authors, over 1,200, 1,500 years. Not in the same room, not with AI or anybody else. God said, write it down. That's what it is. That's truth. And so in Hebrews, the author in the New Testament says what I'm saying now in chapter 1, book of beginnings, verse 1. They weren't in the same room when they put this together. They didn't live in the same period of history when this was written down. I give credit to the Apostle Paul as the author of Hebrews. So I say the Apostle Paul wrote this like he wrote a lot of other letters, about half of them in the New Testament. By faith in Jesus, that Jesus changes everything, even changes my mind when I've been stuck on stupid, or I've been stuck because some professor told me that we all evolved from some kind of caveman, or that the world just evolved, the universe just happened. I've been stuck and now I am set free. Jesus comes to set us free from our misunderstanding. By faith. You get this cleared up. By faith we understand. Say understand. You got to have faith, guys. You ain't never going to clear this up talking to other people with text messages, jumping around ships like you're going from church to church, trying to find another preacher that tickles your fancy, see if he has a different interpretation than the last guy you listened to. Just go to the basics of the Bible. And so it's God. It all starts with God. Before we get to all these other bigger questions about marriage and abortion and racism and all kinds of topical things everybody wants to talk about God first. How did we get here? How did we get at this point in our history? It's God. Hebrews chapter 11, by faith we understand that the entire universe was formed or created, or that Hebrew word bara was formed by God's command that we now see we did not come from anything that can be seen. You got to have faith that you can't explain it any other way except by God. So put a couple thoughts together so far what I've said. In the story, the greatest story, 7 words, God created the heavens and the earth. Elohim, bara, verse 1, verse 2. God created the heavens and the earth, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. What that is, except God's presence existed and it came down. I don't even know how to describe it. I can tell you that this is the honest to goodness truth. The best that I can do as a human being just like you. I come up here every weekend, Saturday, Sunday for all these years, and I am nervous as can be about how this is going to go. I'm a regular person. But God somehow anoints me or rains down on me like a summer shower on a hot day, and it comes out the right way. I don't know exactly how that works except what I just read here. That in the beginning, God descended. His presence descended. His glory came down. I'm not getting all spooky and Pentecostal and pass me a snake kind of story. I'm just saying, it's there. God existed and he decided to do something. And so it says that God created the heavens and the earth, verse 1, and the Spirit of God was hovering. Elohim, God, his presence. Verse 3, and God just said, let there be light. It came on. I don't know how he did it. Maybe he clapped his hands. I would have loved been there and heard him clap his hand. I got to clap him. Amen? Amen? I don't know how he did it, but it says he said it and it happened. Let there be light. God saw that the light was good. He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day. Okay? In the darkness, he called night. And there was evening and there was morning. The first day. Genesis 1 through 5. Check out this picture. God's view. Day 1. Yeah, on the screen. Check out the picture. He didn't have a telescope, and he didn't have a camera, but he saw something. He saw whatever he had created day 1, and it was, wow, God. And so, page 2, day 2, Genesis chapter 1, verse 6. I'm going to keep reading some more of the story, 7 words. Most important 7 words: God created the heavens and the earth. Waters and sky appeared. Verse 6, God spoke sky. All they had to do was say it. And in the middle of the waters, separate water from water, God made sky. Verse 7, he separated the water under the sky from the water above sky, and there it was. And he named sky the heavens. Later, Adam gets to name all the animals, but God gives names to day and night and the elements. He named sky the heavens. It was evening. It was morning, day 2. There aren't any people yet, but he's fixing to get there. Then verse 9, the land starts to appear. God spoke, separate water beneath heaven, gather into one place, land appear. And there it was. God named the land earth, and he named the pooled water ocean. God says, pretty good. That was good. Then vegetation, verse 11, is next, making an appearance. God again speaks, earth, green up. I'd like to have some of that. Green up. Grow all variety of seed-bearing plants, every sort of fruit-bearing tree, and there it was. God's a farmer. He can do anything. That are called sun, moon, stars begin to pop out. Verse 14 says, God spoke again, lights come out, shine in heaven, sky, separate day and night, mark seasons and days and years, lights in heaven, heaven's sky to give light to earth, and there it was. There it was. Don't give up. The marriage that failed, the baby that died, the abortion you had and regret now later. If God speaks his word over you, anything can happen. He is a God of miracles. You're not done. It's not over. Your kid in jail is not there forever. Joseph sat for 20 years and he didn't even do it. Just hang on. Say, hang on. Hang on to this God that's in your life. If God speaks a word over you, it's done.
God made too big lights the larger to take charge of the day, the smaller to be in charge of the night. He made